The musical scores make the Popeye cartoons fun.
The Fleischers were really on the edge of what was coming out just on any particular day and really had the best songs to choose from.
There was something very appealing about the marriage of images and music.
The heartbeat of the Fleischer cartoons is that musical beat.
Music has always had a very strong kind of commercial role in cartoons, whether we know it or not. If we watch a cartoon without the music, we are paying attention to the images alone. If we watch a cartoon with the music is really telling us what to feel and what to think, on top of what we're seeing in the drawings, in the paintings, in the images. Sammy Lerner, who was born in 1903, was in music publishing by the time he was in his early 20s, and he's probably best known now for having written Popeye's theme.
And a wonderful job he did too. It was a hit in its own right. Even Seeger acknowledged it. There's at least one Sunday page where Popeye can be seen singing the song from his own movies, which was a nice little in-reference.
Everybody knows it. Even little kids today know the Popeye theme song, at least the first verse.
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish 'cause I eats me spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
Whenever the spinach comes out, Popeye's theme always shows up. In fact, it might be even the theme of the spinach, because if Olive has the spinach, or Sweet Pea has the spinach, or anybody has the spinach, we still hear that theme. So it's as much Popeye's theme as it is the theme of the can of spinach.
Fleischer was comedy. They were going for humor, they were going for laughs, they were going for what was going to entertain the audience for 7 minutes with song, with images, and that's where they succeeded.
The soundtracks of the Fleischer cartoons are very different from what a lot of other studios were doing in the mid-1930s when Popeye first starts appearing. Because of their location in New York, the Fleischers have been really tied to popular music. They really had their finger on the pulse of what was going on.
That music at that time was really swing music of the 1930s and 40s.
We can see that the jazz and the music of the clubs and the pop music that people are hearing, all of that filters in to the soundtrack of the Fleischer cartoon.
Max and Dave's brother Lou was the head of the music department, and he had a great relationship with the songwriters who wrote these jaunty, hummable, catchy tunes.
You can bet your life that I'm your man.
Fleischer Studio had several people who worked on the music over the years.
Winston Sharples, he certainly was, their long-standing go-to guy, for the underscoring, and certainly helped Popeye develop this audio identity.
Each neighbor should try to be good, and I'll be good, so have no fear. Tell all the girls in Rio that Popeye and Pluto are here.
Sammy Timberg was a musical director for some time at the Fleischer Studio and wrote several songs for the studio.
We aim to please. It's our business to be at your service.
My father was trained classically. He was trained by Reuben Goldmark, and he's one of the same teachers that Gershwin had. One of the relatives of my father, named Seymour Nightel, was one of the animators for the Fleischers. And then Seymour brought my father in, and my father did a lot of the background scores for Betty Boop, Popeye, Superman, Gulliver's Travels, some Little Lulu, some Casper the Friendly Ghost, and did a lot of that. I called him a musical animator. He would look at the screen, he'd see it, and he would come up with these tunes. The thing that was so wonderful is the musicians, being jazz musicians like they do now, they'll have a score or a melody in front of them, but then depending on their mood, they change it and they kind of improvise off it. And I think some of the stuff you hear in the cartoons, I know not every single line of that is written out. You know, they just had the melody and then they'd improvise off it and he'd conduct it. That's, I think, how it came about. My dad never really talked about the cartoon music. It's kind of sad. He never realized how great it was, you know, and is, actually.
But we don't like Spanish.
There's some really great songs in these cartoons that really drive the story because there's some great tunes and there's some very funny lyrics.
Ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. In building boats, I'm never wrong. I built a million, short and long. I'm 99 and going strong. Ahoy, ahoy, ahoy.
In those days, you'd see Felix the Cat and even Mickey Mouse. The music was his background diddly stuff. But in the Fleischers, there were like mini musicals.
What we all need is brotherly love. You can't go wrong with brotherly love.
The black and white one-reelers would often have a special song. Things like Brotherly Love, which is Olive Oil's peace campaign song, which had a kind of afterlife after that one cartoon.
Now I don't care whose brother you love.
It developed on from that and it became something of its own. Popeye takes up Olive Oil's peace campaign song as he goes through the street with a strange skipping walk, which they obviously decided to make a regular thing with him for a while. I think Little Sweepy and a few others. Again, you'll find Popeye skipping or la-la-ing the Brotherly Love song.
What we need is brotherly love.
But Clean Shaven Man is one of my favorites. Should be in a commercial.
I want a clean-shaven man. I want a clean-shaven man. Oh, how I behave when he takes a shave. I want a clean-shaven man.
The music that we find in the Popeye cartoons is very much an extension of what we've seen already in the Fleischer cartoons, but it is really like an early music video.
She wants a clean-shaven man.
A lot of us today don't realize how cool those early 30s movies are. I mean, the music is wonderful.
Who's the most phenomenal, extra special kind of fellow? Cinderella's halo.
That sounds like real Popeye-ish, and then all of a sudden it breaks off. And it has this great jazz stuff right in between. I mean, they're fabulous.
By the time they got to Alibaba, it's pretty darn good. You know, his song defining who he is.
Your wives and children and money too are stealing from you before I'm through. I'm out gunning, so start in running from me and my 40 teeth. Abu Hassan.
Well, the Fleischers had the luxury of the Paramount famous music library, so they had a lot of music to work with.
Plumbing as a Pipe, the beginning of that, you've got Olive idly singing to herself a song called How Would You Like to Love Me, which is from a Paramount picture.
You drops of this. Here.
The best one of the lot is a hit of 1933 from a movie called Sitting Pretty. It's called Did You Ever See a Dream Walking? Now, the Fleischers animated a film called A Dream Walking with Popeye, Olive and Bluto around that music. And it's superb. It's timed to the beat, it works wonderfully, and of course, because it's about olive oil sleepwalking, it's a good pun on the title, which worked out rather nicely.
The Fleischers understood the importance of music. Every cartoon was a real joy to watch.
That's really the power of these cartoons, that they really had their finger on what was happening in the musical world right at that moment.
The music is great. It really was the perfect package, and they are still, to this day, classic cartoons.